Uju Kinamagi and Ireland Indigenous, and welcome to this math enrichment lesson. Today's episode, formulas for area. All right, in this lesson, we're going to talk about formulas for a few shapes, not all of them. But the point being that as we start to understand these, when they come up later on in the year, it'll be easier. And the first one we're going to do is the world's worst triangle. Let's pretend that that's a 90-degree angle that's perpendicular. It's clearly not. So let's say that this is 4 and this is 5. The formula for finding the area, A equals 1/2 base, let's put it 1/2 times base times height. So that we have 1/2 base times height. And now we start plugging in numbers. Our base is 5. Our height is 4. And then we're going to go 1/2 of that. So if you remember back to order of operations, we'll put this together. So we have 20. And what's 1/2 times 20? Well, half of 20 is 10. So we would label this as 10 units squared. If this had a label on it like meters, then we'd say meters squared. And you you must have that squared. The other way you can write this, if in absence of being able to do an exponent on your keyboard, you could put square units. And that's probably what I'll ask you to do on this practice here today. But there are more shapes. I have a rectangle. And let's say this is 15 and this is 5. The area for a rectangle, A equals base times height. And if you're like Mr. I, you're using these terms base and height, but what are you talking about? Height is how tall it is. Like here you have the 5, here you have the 4. And the base is how long across it is. You had the 5 here and 15 here. You're like, Mr. Ireland, that's the top. Or was it upside down? Well, one of the properties is that in a rectangle, because these are all 90-degree angles, it's like your table. If you look at a classroom table, it should be the same length on both sides. We know that it's 15 over here. We also know that this is 5. The opposite sides are equal. So now I just go, my base is 15 times my height is 5. 15 times 5 is 75. And let's pretend for a minute here that we use meters. And the abbreviation for meters is M. I could go like this. Or if I don't have the ability to type in an exponent, I'd say 75 square meters. You're wondering, well, Mr. What do you mean square meters? If I put 15 divisions here and 5 there, it would be 75 blocks, 75 squares that make it up. That was a typo there. I'm going to retype that. I added an extra letter there. There we go. Much better. So today we're going to just do these two. There are others, like finding the area of a trapezoid or the area of a circle. But I just wanted to get this going on this piece as we kind of cycle through some facts that'll help you out going on later in the school year, or more importantly, going into next school year. There will be kind of a heavy geometry focus at the beginning, but I didn't want to go coordinate planes and all that 2 days in a row or 2 weeks in a row, but those will be around. And every 2 or 3 weeks, we will have a week that's just kind of rehashes what we've already talked about using a different material, maybe a Khan Academy or a site like that, to make sure that we're truly having this mastered, so that when you walk in next year to middle school, you'll be like, I got this. At this point, you should go into the Google Classroom. Well, let's practice 1 or 2 more. I'm going to draw a figure for you. I want you to figure out the area of this right triangle. You can do it on paper or do it in your head, and then we'll talk about it. If you need to pause the video to do it, go for it. And welcome back. Let's do this. Our formula area is area equals 1/2 base times height. So that's 1/2 times 7 times 3. So 1/2 times 21, which equals 11.5, and it's meters squared. Hopefully you got that answer. And if you notice, when you do something like this, you don't have to put a little time sign there. As you're now moving towards the middle school, this is understood. Just like this would be understood as 7 times 3. Let's get the eraser. Let's give you one more. What's the area of this shape? Go ahead and pause the video and you can return, and we'll go over it. All right, area equal, in this case, equals base times height. If you start to see the similarities between the triangle and the rectangle, you should have, because the theory is, I'm missing half my area. So this is 3 times 3. So that would be 9. And I don't have a unit on it. Units squared. At this point, I would like you to return to the Google Classroom, find this post, and take care of those few problems. If you have any questions, please reach out. Hope you have a Minogijigad. Minwa Bama P.